Hello again folks, thank you for clicking on the video. Today I'm going to be doing a full review on the HW45 air pistol. So if this is your kind of thing, stay tuned. Okay, so to start us off with some facts, the pistol costs around 270 to 290, 300 depending on where you buy it from. It's cost me £289 new. And the rifle barrel is 178mm or 7 inches if you prefer, and it can be changed over to a different calibre with minimal fuss. You have a choice of 3, 177, 20 cal and 22. This version here is 177, but as you can see I also have a 22 calibre barrel, which I can use to obviously change it over to a 22 calibre gun, which effectively gives me 2 pistols instead of just 1. Which is pretty cool, so I thought I'd have me some of that. The overall pistol length is 280mm or 11 inches if you prefer, and the pistol weight is 1.1 kilograms or 2.5 pounds. It has a 2-stage adjustable trigger, which is highly addictive to use because of how sweet it is, and it's probably one of the best triggers I've ever used on an air gun, if I'm honest. And it can be set to a really low weight of pull. Single shot only, or single shot capacity only, so this slide effect is purely just for effect. And the safety is ambidextrous and manual, and it's very clear and easy to use at the flick of a switch. It has fibre optic front sights as standard on the newer models. The front is fixed and the rear is adjustable for windage and elevation. The older models had iron sights, so at a really quick glance you can tell if it's an older version or not. So if it hasn't got this kind of like fibre optic stuff going on, you'll know it's an older version of this pistol. It's an overlever style pistol that gives the user 2 power options, low and high. To get half power you cock it halfway, and to get full power you cock it fully. But I will go into this feature a little bit more near the end of the video. There are a few different models of this pistol. The standard black version, which you see here, and then there is the black star version, the silver star version, and now what's known as the bronze star version, I believe. The standard version is different grips from the star versions. They have a much more ergonomic fit and feel to them, and they come with like a palm swell and a palm shelf, so when you hold the pistol it kind of fits into your hand a bit more snugly. But if you get yourself a black starred version, the aftermarket grips that are available to you are limited. And the reason I say this is because the standard version of the grips are the same as the grips found on a real Colt 1911 semi-auto pistol. So if you was that way inclined, you could have a set from a real Colt 1911 fitted straight onto your HW45 airgun with like 0 modifications made to them, and there's a very good reason for this. Okay, so a little bit of history on this pistol. I wouldn't normally do this, but I think with this pistol I feel it's appropriate. So the HW45 was first released in 1985, and in the UK it was boasted as the most powerful air pistol available. So at this stage today, this pistol is 34 years old in design, and over the years not much has changed as far as I'm aware, apart from 3 things. The newer models now have the fibre optic sights mentioned. There's the star versions now available, again as mentioned, and then there's the dual power options for both 177 and 22 calibre. When it was first produced, Virak only fitted the dual power feature to the 177 models, as they felt people would buy 22 to hunt with and 177 for targets. This pistol is also known as the Beeman P1, and the reason being is it was Beeman over in the US who provided all the specifications and design features of this pistol to Virak. They felt it should resemble a Colt 1911, as this would also then appeal to the American market as well. Beeman literally sent Virak a life-size 3D model made from plaster of Paris for the HW technicians to use for the final design. Right, so I'd just like to cut to some test footage and some of the pistol in use, as I'm sure you would all prefer to see that rather than hear me waffle on anymore. Okay, so I'll just do a couple of shots with the decibel meter on show. As you can see, the ambient noise is about 43 decibels. And I'll do 2 shots with the pistol on low power, and then I'll do 2 shots with it on high power. to open up the gun is 77 decibels. So that went up to 104.7, I think. Second shot, I've just done that one on high power, so I'll do this one on high power as well. 108 decibels. Right, so half power. Let's see if it makes any difference to the noise. Same place. 105, so that knocked off 3 decibels then. Again, half power. .7, so not a particularly quiet pistol. Okay, so I'm just going to do a quick chronograph test with the pistol. I'll do a few shots with it on low power and I'll do a few shots with it on high power. To load the pellets, what I've taken to doing is using this little pellet seater, because I've noticed if I don't seat the pellets with that seater, I start to get a bit of wear and tear on the seal on the 45. So when I load up a pellet, I'll just cock it halfway, so half power, and then what I do is I'll plonk a pellet in like that, and then I seat it using this pellet, so I know it always goes in by that much every time. And I'll be doing that to all of the shots that I use, or that I take over the chronograph. Okay, so first shot on low power, 310.8 feet per second. So again, pistol cocked halfway. Again, using the pellet seater. Okay, so second shot over the chronograph on low power, 318 dead feet per second. Okay, so first shot on full power. Just try and do this as quick as possible. First shot high power, 453 dead. So as you can see that the gun's cocked all the way this time, and opposed to it being there, you go there to take it all the way for full power. It's not that much further than half power in range of distance of moving the over lever, but it does produce about an extra 100 feet per second, give or take. Okay, last shot over the chronograph on full power, 445.3. Okay, so just to analyse that test footage a little bit, I've got the results written down on paper, and as you can see I was using 177 pellets, RWS Superdomes at 8.3 grains. First shot was 310 feet per second, which equated to 1.77 foot-pounds of energy. The second one was 1.86, and then on the first full power shot was 3.78 foot-pounds of energy, and then on the second full power shot was 3.65. So I'd say RWS Superdomes at 8.3 grain are a fairly average weight pellet. I have used heavy pellets on this pistol and it gave pretty much the same results. I haven't used lightweight pellets yet, but I am interested to see if by using them I will get anywhere near the full power that this pistol supposedly, supposed to produce. So I'm a little bit dubious about whether it actually is a real full powered pistol or not right now. I mean, I'd done these tests before. I'd done them for the sake of the video, so I knew what was coming, but at the same time I still don't really understand why it seems so low powered. I don't think for a minute that by getting a super lightweight pellet it's going to make it produce 5.5 foot-pounds of energy. I think it is slightly underpowered, but that's just my opinion on the pistol. Everybody else's could be different. Mine in particular seems to be a little bit low powered, but I'm happy with that because I'm only really using it for backyard plinking anyway, and less power means less recoil, which means more accuracy, I guess. Right, so I'm just going to do a few shots on a few of the X's and see how many pellets I can get in the same hole. I won't be speeding up the footage, I'll be showing you it in real time, and at the end I'll walk the camera back to where I was shooting from. I'm going to be shooting from about 10 metres away, and I'll be shooting off of a makeshift rest while seated at a table. Okay, so that weren't a bad effort, I guess. Managed to get a few pellets in the same hole, and where I was shooting from was roughly 10 metres away. Sat from a rested position off of the box, resting my arm and then cupping the pistol into my hand, so it's my hand that's rested and not necessarily the pistol, because these pistols unfortunately don't respond well to being rested or shot from being completely rested themselves. Right, so after owning this pistol for a few months now, I think it's fair to say I've learnt a bit about it, and I'd just like to give a few pros and cons, as I do with all my reviews. And the first pro for me was how accurate it is. Compared to other pistols I've used, this seems to be in another league. For example, I've always felt I was a poor pistol shooter. I've had loads of different pistols over the years and was never really any good with them, and then I got this. It sounds kind of cheesy, I know, but this pistol has taught me how to shoot a pistol properly. After having things like a Webley Hurricane as a child, and then an Electo a few years back, along with a Crossman 2240, to name a few, it's fair to say I've tried a few different options over the years. Okay, so my second pro is the trigger. This pairs well with the first pro, as if it was not for the trigger, this pistol may have just been another one to me. It really is a lovely trigger that gives clear, consistent usage each and every time it's pulled. And before I start gushing about it much further, I'd just like to add, it has a dry fire option which allows you to practice trigger control late at night, for example, or if it's raining outside or you can't get out for the day. So I think that's a pretty cool feature about the gun. The third pro, in my opinion, is how easy it is to change the barrel over. I've never really been a fan of doing that on rifles. I'd much rather just get loads of different ones and be greedy, but for a pistol I think it's kind of a cool feature. And the fourth pro is how much aftermarket stuff is available for it. With it all being like such a long-standing gun, people and companies have had time to manufacture things such as a bespoke tuning kit for it. So for example, I've got this little tuning kit here. It's got like a Delvin spring guide and some washers, everything you need to fit it to the gun. And I've been called up for saying it's a tuning kit in the past in my videos, so I'd just like to point out that I'm fully aware that it doesn't give your gun magical powers. You still need to take it to somebody who can properly tune your gun, but you know, I'm just calling it by its name, and in most cases they do make some sort of a difference. Okay, so the 5th Pro is the rail. It is a 13mm rail. You'd look at it and perhaps think it was a 11mm or 9mm one that you get on most guns, but it's actually 13. But I'm still going to call it a Pro because it allows you to fix things like a scope or a red dot to the gun. Some like that, some don't. I do. And the 6th Pro for me is it comes with really decent fibre optic open sights. I can get just as good groupings with the pistol using the open sights as I do with glass. I just prefer a glass option as it's something I'm more accustomed to doing, as most people will agree. It also gives you a better, clearer sight picture. Okay, so the 7th Pro is the safety. It's a decent resettable manual safety that is very clear and easy to use. You get a very reassuring click when operating it. Some people prefer an auto safety, but for me in this pistol's case, not having the hassle of constantly having to take it off prior to every shot is nice. Although you can get through some serious amount of lead with this pistol once you become familiar with it, as it's not at all difficult or taxing to operate this pistol, even with a scope fitted in my opinion. And 8th Pro is the hole just there. You can use it to fit a lanyard or some sort of carabiner setup, so you could hang it from your neck or your belt. There ain't many holsters available for this gun, but again I'm going to say this is a Pro because you could, you know, utilise that instead. And the 9th Pro for me is the build quality. If this pistol's looked after, it will last you years, and even if you don't look after it, it will probably still look after you years. There's a reason why people still buy this pistol even today, 34 years after it was first released. And you kind of have to laugh. I've spent years buying loads of other pistols that came after this one was created, and I felt they were no good. Yeah, I've ended up like loving this one and keeping hold of it. I guess sometimes the oldies really are like the goldies, like, you know. And the 10th and lastly is the weight. It's a very heavy pistol. Some like this, some don't. I thought I didn't, but it turns out where this pistol is concerned, it's a good thing. Although I'd just like to point out, as before, this pistol does not respond that well with being shot from a rested position. You need to support your hand rather than the pistol, else it will send your shots all over the place. Okay, so now for some cons. Unfortunately, there are a few, as there is with all things. It's positive and negative. The cost. The price of this pistol put me off getting one for years. I don't know about anybody else, but it's, you know, it's quite a staggering price for a pistol, even if it is a really good pistol. And number 2, the second con for me, is the dual power system. I find it to be a bit of a con as well, as the lower power setting is kind of unusable. Prior to getting the pistol, I was really looking forward to having the option of low power, but when I got it, I found out the pellets always shoot high. And after looking into the reasons why, I found a reoccurring theory online, and it's because, or people reckon it's because of the lower velocity. The pellet is still in the barrel while the gun is muzzle flipping, and when it's on high power, the pellet has left the barrel before all the muzzle flip starts. And also, it's worth noting that this pistol recoils down first before it goes back up again. Okay, so third con is the barrel. I'm not sure it's the same on everyone else's, but I always seem to really need to push the pellet down into the barrel, else the skirt of the pellet catches and it gets caught on the breech seal, which of course is bad for the pellet as well as it is for the seal. Hence why I've started using the pellet seater, as you saw in the videos. Okay, so last con was made by me. I actually produced this con. I wasn't aware that they lock tight certain screws into this gun, and as you can see here, that screw's been chewed up a little bit. It's the compression retaining screw, so you need to undo that before you can take out the compression chamber, hence why this tuning kit is still sat in its box, because I don't think the pistol actually needs the tuning kit, but it would have been nice to have fitted it now that I've brought it. Okay, so that kind of brings me to the end of my review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you made it this far, and if you liked it, please like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel.